Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, how much you sacrifice, or how many people you try to please, the world just keeps taking and taking, without giving anything back? Like you're sprinting on a treadmill going nowhere, chasing approval from people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared tomorrow. Here's a cold, unfiltered truth most people are too scared to admit: the world doesn't care if you succeed. Harsh? Yes, but necessary to hear. From the moment you wake up, everything around you is designed to distract you, drain you, and keep you fixated on chasing things that don't actually matter. Your attention is currency, your energy is a commodity. And your time? People will waste it without a second thought. They'll hijack your focus for their own benefit, leaving you empty, exhausted, and wondering why you feel so stuck. But here's the brutal reality no one talks about: the more you prioritize others over yourself, the more powerless you become. The moment you reclaim your focus, redirect your energy inward, and start building a life centered around your own values, that's the moment you become untouchable. That's the moment the game changes. Welcome to Stoic Buddy, where we don't sugarcoat life. We embrace reality for what it is, not what we wish it would be. If you're serious about taking back control, if you're done playing the background character in your own story, drop a comment below. My mind is my fortress. Because it's time to take back what's yours. Let's dive in. 1. Why you must prioritize yourself. Let's start with the foundation, the bedrock of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoic thinkers, once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." Now stop and really think about that for a second. If your ambitions are shaped by your parents' expectations, your friends' opinions, or society's constantly shifting standards, what does that say about your true worth? Whose life are you really living? Most people don't even realize they're trapped in a mental prison. They spend years, decades, chasing external validation, seeking approval, contorting themselves to fit into molds built by others. They work soul-crushing jobs they despise to impress people they don't even respect. They buy things they don't need to maintain an image that ultimately doesn't serve them. Picture this: someone drowning in debt, anxiety, and emptiness, yet still smiling for Instagram. It's a tragedy disguised as normal life. They trade their freedom for the illusion of acceptance. But here's the harshest truth you'll ever hear: nobody is coming to save you. No one's going to hand you the life you dream of. If you don't prioritize yourself, you'll always be a pawn in someone else's game. And the cruelest part? The people you sacrifice for, the ones you bend over backwards to please, most of them won't even appreciate it. The world respects those who respect themselves. The world listens to those who speak from a place of strength, not desperation. Now, does this mean you should become a cold, heartless, selfish person who never helps anyone? Absolutely not. There's a massive difference between helping others from a place of strength and allowing them to drain you until there's nothing left. A Stoic understands this balance. Before you can truly offer value to the world, you must master yourself first. When you start making yourself your top priority, everything in your life begins to shift. Your mindset transforms. You stop begging for validation. You stop chasing people who only show up when it's convenient for them. You no longer allow guilt, fear, or obligation to dictate your decisions. Instead, you become independent. You become someone of substance, someone of high value. And here's the paradox: the moment you stop seeking approval, people start respecting you more. So I'll ask you right now, who are you living for? Are you building a life that serves your own purpose? Or are you just playing a part in someone else's script? If this is hitting home, let me know in the comments. I choose myself. Because at the end of the day, if you don't, no one else will. 2. The illusion of control. Stop chasing external validation. Most people live under a dangerous illusion. It's the belief that if they just say the right thing, dress the right way, or play the right part, they can somehow control how others see them, think about them, or feel about them. Let's be honest, how many times have you replayed a conversation in your head? Worried about how you came across? How often do you hesitate to post something online, fearing judgment or misunderstanding? The average person spends a staggering amount of time adjusting, filtering, and performing, all in the hopes of being accepted. But here's the truth they never tell you: no matter what you do, people will judge you. If you aim for perfection, they'll call you fake. If you make a mistake, they'll call you a failure. You could dedicate your entire life to pleasing others, and some people would still find a reason to dislike you. And why? Because people's opinions of you say far more about them than they do about you. It's a rigged game, one you were never meant to win. The only way to break free is to stop playing it altogether. Imagine how liberating it would feel to no longer care about the approval of strangers. To speak your truth without hesitation. To make decisions based on your values, not public opinion. That's the kind of unshakable confidence Stoicism teaches. A Stoic understands that the only thing truly within our control is our own mind, our thoughts, our actions, our character. Everything else is external, and to chase control over the uncontrollable is a recipe for misery. When you stop chasing external validation, something incredible happens. You stop living reactively. You no longer hand over your power to other people's opinions. Instead, you start moving with purpose, with clarity, with calm. And paradoxically, the less you care about what others think, the more people respect you. Because authenticity is magnetic. So ask yourself, how much of your life have you spent performing? How many dreams have you buried to avoid disappointing others? How much of your potential have you sacrificed on the altar of approval? It's time to reclaim your life. If this message resonates with you, if you're ready to stop living by other people's rules and start building your own fortress of strength, drop a comment below. My mind is my fortress. Because here's the truth. No one else will build it for you. In the last section, we uncovered a harsh truth: no matter what you do, people will judge you. If you focus on others, you'll lose yourself. If you focus on yourself, they'll call you selfish. So the real question is, why should you care? 3. Why should you care? And why you shouldn't. Let's get something straight right now. If you succeed, people will say you got lucky. If you fail, they'll say you deserved it. And if you choose to prioritize yourself, to focus on your growth, your peace, your ambitions, those same people will call you selfish. So, let me ask you, why should you care? The answer comes from one of the wisest minds in history, Epictetus, the legendary Stoic philosopher. His philosophy was sharp, unflinching, and powerful. He taught that the only things truly within your control are your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. Everything else, opinions, outcomes, other people's judgments, is entirely outside your hands. Yet despite this timeless wisdom, most people today live paralyzed by the fear of what others might think. They let external opinions shape their paths, dictate their decisions, and mold their self-worth like clay in someone else's hands. Why? Because deep down, they don't trust themselves. They're insecure. They second-guess their own judgment. And rather than face that discomfort, they look to others for reassurance. Like a drowning person grasping for anything to keep afloat. Validation, for most people, is like a drug. The more they chase it, the weaker they become. It's a high that never lasts. A hit that fades as soon as it arrives, leaving them emptier than before. And here's where things get darker. Dark psychology. the unspoken side of human behavior, reveals an unsettling truth: the moment you stop seeking validation, you become more powerful than 99% of people around you. Why? Because you're no longer controlled by social pressure. You stop letting guilt dictate your actions. You stop needing to fit in. And the instant you drop that invisible weight, you become untouchable. And here's the fascinating paradox, the one that always catches people off guard: the moment you stop chasing approval, people start respecting you. When you begin to focus solely on yourself, when you carry yourself with that quiet, unwavering confidence, when you no longer react to petty opinions, people feel it, they sense it, they can't shake you, they can't guilt you, and that makes you powerful in a way they can't explain. It's like walking through a storm while everyone else scrambles for cover. And you don't even flinch. That kind of inner strength is rare. And people can't help but notice it. So the next time you catch yourself wondering, "What will they think of me?" Stop, pause, remind yourself, it doesn't matter. Their opinions won't change your reality. Their approval won't pay your bills. Their validation won't bring you lasting peace or fulfillment. The only thing that matters is how you see yourself, and whether or not you're living according to your own values. If you're ready to let go of external validation and take full ownership of your life, drop it in the comments: "My mind belongs to me." Because once you believe that, truly, deeply believe it, you become unstoppable. 4. Dark psychology: how people hijack your focus. Now, let's dig deeper into something most people have no clue about. The truth is, many of us believe we're making our own decisions, that we're in control of our thoughts, emotions, and desires. But in reality, we're being manipulated far more than we realize. This is where dark psychology comes into play, the subtle, often invisible tactics people use to control you. Look around. The world is full of people who thrive on stealing your focus and keeping you emotionally dependent. Friends who guilt trip you, bosses who overwork you, social media that hijacks your attention. Every one of them benefits when you stay distracted, drained, and easy to control. Let's break it down. Here are 3 psychological tactics people use to drain your energy and keep you stuck. 1. The guilt trap. Have you ever noticed how certain people suddenly act hurt, offended, or disappointed the moment you start setting boundaries? That's no accident. It's a manipulation tactic, plain and simple. They want you to feel guilty for focusing on yourself, for saying no, for daring to prioritize your peace. Because the more guilt you feel, the more likely you are to drop those boundaries and return to serving their needs instead of your own. But here's the truth you need to tattoo onto your brain: you don't owe anyone your time, your energy, or your validation. A Stoic knows that guilt is only a weapon if you allow it to be. The moment you stop reacting to emotional traps, those people lose their power over you. It's like pulling the plug on a puppet master's strings. 2. The scarcity illusion. Toxic people are masters at making you believe that if you leave, you'll be alone, that if you cut ties, you'll regret it, that if you stop chasing them, you'll lose something valuable. But here's the unfiltered reality: the people who manipulate you need you far more than you need them. They create an illusion, a fake sense of scarcity, convincing you they're irreplaceable. In truth, they're entirely expendable. The moment you recognize your own worth and refuse to be held hostage by false scarcity, you become dangerous. You become someone who can't be controlled. Someone who doesn't flinch when threatened with loneliness or loss. And trust me, that kind of independence terrifies manipulators. 3. The attention hijack. Now, think for a second about how much time you waste on meaningless distractions. Gossip, arguments, petty drama. Every time you engage, you're not just wasting minutes, you're handing over your most valuable resource, your focus. And manipulators love this. They thrive on it, because as long as you're preoccupied with nonsense, you won't have the clarity, energy, or confidence to level up your life. Social media is a prime example. The endless scroll, the fake controversies, the outrage bait, it's all designed to hijack your attention, to keep you emotionally reactive and mentally exhausted. A Stoic, however, guards their focus like a fortress. They recognize distractions for what they are, traps. And the moment you stop giving your attention to meaningless things, you take your power back. The world is filled with people and systems designed to pull you away from yourself, from your ambitions, from your clarity. But the moment you see these tactics for what they are, you become impossible to manipulate. And that's when real freedom begins. If you're ready to take back control, if you're done playing someone else's game, comment below, I refuse to be controlled. Because the only life worth living is the one where you're in charge. In the previous part, we exposed how people and society relentlessly try to steal your attention. They want you distracted, caught up in meaningless things, so you forget the one thing that truly matters, building yourself. 4. Reclaim your power, the strength of focus and indifference. And that's exactly what they want. Because the more distracted you are, the less time you have to grow, to learn, to create, and to live a life where you're in control. That's why the greatest Stoic minds like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus constantly emphasized the power of solitude, those quiet moments where your mind sharpens and becomes unbreakable. A focused mind is a mind that cannot be conquered. If you've ever felt like you're being pulled in 100 different directions, always trying to please this person, meet that expectation, and stay afloat in a world demanding more than you can give, then it's time to take your power back. Stop reacting. Stop explaining. Stop justifying your choices to people who never truly had your best interests at heart. From this moment on, choose yourself. Drop a comment below. I refuse to be controlled. Because the moment you break free from those invisible strings, what's left is absolute freedom. 5. The power of emotional detachment, why indifference is strength. The moment you can detach your emotions from situations, you become unstoppable. Why? Because people can no longer control you with their words, their stares, or their actions. They lose the power to manipulate your feelings. And when they can't control how you feel, they lose control over you completely. Stoicism teaches that real power comes from within, from mastering yourself, not from constantly reacting to the chaos outside. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Now, think about it. How many times have you let a careless comment ruin your entire day? How often have you wasted precious energy worrying about things you couldn't control anyway? The world is designed to provoke you, to pull you into pointless reactions, to make you angry, insecure, and impulsive. Every time you lose your cool, you hand over your power. But here's the secret hardly anyone talks about. Indifference is a weapon. Why? Because when you are indifferent to negativity, to insults, to the storms of chaos around you, people won't know how to deal with you. They'll get frustrated, try harder to trigger you. But ultimately, they'll fail. And here's the paradox: the less you react, the more powerful you become. Because true control isn't about dominating others, it's about mastering yourself. How to build emotional detachment, the Stoic way. 1. Detach from approval. Stop caring what people think about you. Their opinions don't define you, and they'll never alter your reality. 2. Detach from outcomes. Focus on your actions, not the results. You control your effort, the outcome is not yours to command. 3. Detach from negativity. When people try to provoke you, Stay silent. Don't hand them the reaction they're fishing for. 4. Detach from petty drama. Don't waste your mental energy on arguments, gossip, or trivial distractions. Your mind is a fortress, guard it fiercely. But remember, indifference doesn't mean you don't care about life. It means you care only about what truly matters. So, the next time someone tries to push your buttons, remind yourself, a stoic mind is like a mountain, unmoved by the winds. Indifferent to the storms. Stay calm. Stay composed. Stay in control. If you're ready to master your emotions and take back your peace. Comment, I control my mind. Because once you do, no one will ever be able to break you again. 6. The Stoic art of self-mastery. Discipline over distraction. So many people today wake up and immediately grab their phones. They scroll aimlessly through social media. Chase instant gratification. Avoid discomfort at all costs. And then wonder why they feel so lost, powerless, and uninspired. But a Stoic, a true student of wisdom, understands one thing that others often overlook: discipline is the foundation of all greatness. As the great Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that's a harsh truth we all need to face. If you don't have control over your mind, your actions, your impulses, and your desires, then you are not free. You are at the mercy of your emotions, your distractions, and the constant manipulation of the world around you. And in the modern world, distraction is the real enemy. Social media feeds you endless entertainment. Cheap dopamine hits lurk around every corner. Constant notifications, pointless videos, and trivial conversations are all carefully designed to keep you weak, entertained, and unfocused. Why? Because a distracted mind is an obedient mind. And the system doesn't want you to think. It wants you to consume. The power of mastering yourself. Real power doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from controlling yourself. Control over your emotions. Control over your reactions. Control over your impulses. The person who masters themselves no longer needs approval, distraction, or validation from the world. Their strength comes from within, like a steady flame in the middle of a storm. Look at the greatest Stoic minds in history: Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. These men didn't waste their precious time chasing fleeting pleasures or pointless distractions. They cultivated a powerful, focused mind, an inner fortress that no external force could shake. And you can do the same. How to build unbreakable discipline, the Stoic way. So how do you build this kind of discipline? How do you forge a mind that cannot be bent, no matter how loud the world gets? Here's the Stoic method. 1. Train your mind to resist comfort. The more you seek comfort, the weaker you become. Strength is forged in discomfort. So, embrace challenges. Seek out difficulty. Every obstacle you overcome makes you stronger than you were yesterday. 2. Limit your inputs. The more noise you consume, the less control you have over your thoughts. Cut out negativity. Avoid meaningless scrolling. Choose what you allow into your mind the way a warrior guards the gates of a fortress. 3. Master your time. Every wasted moment is a silent step toward mediocrity. Guard your time ruthlessly. Treat it like the precious, irreplaceable resource it is. 4. Act. Don't overthink. Most people hesitate. They plan forever but never take action. A Stoic moves with purpose, not delay. Make a decision. Execute. Adjust later if needed. 5. Detach from the outcome. Discipline is about showing up, doing the work, and staying consistent, not obsessing over immediate results. Focus on the process. The outcome will follow naturally. Because here's the truth: a man who controls himself controls his destiny. But a man who lacks control, he is controlled by everything around him, his fears, his distractions, and other people's expectations. So, the real question is, who do you want to be? If you're ready to break free from distraction and master yourself, comment below. I choose discipline over comfort. Because once you make that choice, everything changes. 7. Silence and solitude, how they make you unstoppable. Most people today fear silence. They fear being alone with their own thoughts. They drown themselves in constant noise, relentless notifications, endless conversations, and meaningless entertainment. Why? Because deep down, they're afraid to face themselves. But a Stoic knows better. A Stoic understands that solitude is not loneliness, it is power. In solitude, you reclaim your mind. No one is there to provoke you. No one to distract you. You face yourself honestly, and in doing so, you learn to master your emotions. You begin to realize just how much of your peace you've given away to others without even noticing. And something remarkable happens. You become more intimidating. The man who speaks less, listens more, and moves in silence, that's the one who holds real power. People notice it, they feel it, and they don't quite know how to handle it. Society will try to convince you that constant socializing is natural, even necessary, that you should always be available, always engaged. But ask yourself, why do they say that? Because a man who enjoys his own company, who doesn't rely on external validation to feel whole, is a man who cannot be manipulated. The most powerful figures in history understood this well. They would disappear into silence to build themselves, their minds, their discipline, their clarity, and when they returned, they were sharper, stronger, and absolutely untouchable. The weak crave noise. The strong find power in silence. If you understand this truth, leave a comment below. I thrive in silence. Because the moment you embrace solitude, you become unstoppable. 8. Why cutting people off is sometimes necessary. Now, here's a difficult truth. Not everyone in your life is meant to stay. Some people act like anchors, dragging you down, keeping you stuck in the same destructive cycles. Others serve as distractions, filling your head with doubt, negativity, and meaningless drama. And some are nothing more than parasites, feeding off your energy while offering nothing of value in return. Yet, the biggest mistake people make is holding on to relationships that no longer align with their growth. Why? Because they fear loneliness. They dread confrontation. They feel guilty for choosing themselves. And so they stay, trapped, drained, unfulfilled. But a Stoic understands a hard but essential truth: detachment is necessary for evolution. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who are likely to improve you." And the unspoken wisdom behind that is simple, that also means cutting off those who don't. Signs it's time to let someone go. So how do you know when it's time to let someone go? They drain your energy. Every conversation leaves you exhausted. They add stress, not peace. Their presence feels like a burden. They don't respect your growth. They mock your ambitions and belittle your goals. They use guilt as a weapon, making you feel bad for setting boundaries or saying no. They bring nothing but negativity. Complaining, gossiping, blaming others, never learning, never growing. And worst of all, they don't clap when you win. A true friend celebrates your progress. A fake one resents it. The power of walking away. When you cut someone off, you send a message: I choose myself. And that's a level of power most people will never taste. The weak cling to toxic relationships out of fear. The strong walk away without hesitation. Cutting someone off doesn't mean you hate them. It means you love yourself enough to protect your peace. It means you respect your time, your energy, and your mental clarity. And once you do this, something extraordinary happens. You begin to attract better people, stronger minds, and higher standards. Your energy is no longer wasted on those who don't deserve it. The moment you stop forcing connections, the right people naturally gravitate toward you. But first, you must clear the dead weight. So, ask yourself honestly, who in your life is no longer serving your growth? Who's holding you back? And do you have the courage to let them go without looking back? If your answer is yes, comment below, I release what no longer serves me. Because once you make that choice, you step into a new realm of personal power, a level where you owe nothing to anyone but yourself. 9. The unshakable mindset. How to build true confidence. Look around you. Most people today are fragile. The moment someone criticizes them, they crumble. The moment life throws a challenge their way, they panic. Why does this happen? Because their confidence was never real. It was built on shaky foundations, dependent on things completely outside their control. And the harsh truth is, anything that relies on external validation is doomed to collapse. But the Stoic mindset is different. It's built from the inside out. And when you master it, no opinion, no rejection, no failure, no hardship can ever break you. How do you build this kind of unshakable confidence? Let's break it down the Stoic way. Detach from validation. Stop chasing compliments. Stop relying on likes, followers, or approval to feel good about yourself. A Stoic validates himself from within. Embrace hardship. The more adversity you face, the stronger you become. Every obstacle is a test. Every struggle is a lesson. And every scar you carry makes you more resilient. Seek growth, not comfort. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. The easy road makes you soft. The difficult path makes you unstoppable. Control your reactions. Confident people don't overreact. They stay calm under pressure. They don't let small things steal their peace. And that quiet composure is what makes them powerful. Own your presence. Speak less. Observe more. Move with quiet confidence. Because here's a little secret, the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. It's the calm, steady one you should watch. Master your mindset. At its core, confidence is simply the belief that you can handle anything life throws at you. And that belief isn't given. It's built, through action, discipline, and experience. Most people today are desperate. Desperate to be liked. Desperate to be accepted. Desperate to feel worthy. But here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing external validation, you become magnetic. People are drawn to those who don't beg for approval. They respect those who respect themselves first. And the less you chase it, the more you'll naturally attract it. Remember, confidence isn't about being better than others. It's about being so focused on your own journey, your own growth, your own path, that comparison becomes irrelevant. You don't compete. You don't need to prove yourself. You just exist in your own power. And that is what makes you untouchable. If you're ready to step into that power, drop a comment below. I am enough as I am. Because once you realize this truth, no one, and nothing, will ever be able to make you feel small again. 10. The final Stoic truth, the path to ultimate freedom. At the end of it all, everything we've talked about, self-mastery, discipline, solitude, resilience, it all leads to one ultimate destination, freedom. Not freedom in the way most people think. Not money, not status, not external power, but the freedom to think for yourself. The freedom to move through life without fear. The freedom to be fully in control of your mind, your emotions, and your destiny. Sadly, most people will never taste this freedom. They'll live their entire lives trapped in toxic relationships, trapped in the endless chase for approval, trapped in doubt, in fear, in distractions, and by the time they wake up, it'll be too late. But you have a choice. Right now, You can either live like them, weak, reactive, and dependent, or you can take control. You can focus solely on yourself, master your mind, and build the life you were meant to live. The final, unshakable lesson of Stoicism is this: true freedom isn't about wealth, status, or power. It's about self-mastery. It's about knowing that you alone are responsible for your own reality. It's about moving through the world with a mind so steady, so unshaken, that negativity bounces off you, that manipulation fails to touch you, that you remain unstoppable in your purpose. And here's the raw truth. The moment you stop caring about what doesn't serve you is the exact moment you become truly free. So now, it's time for action. If you've made it this far, you're not like most people. You're ready to rise. You're ready to step into your power. So drop a comment below right now. I am the master of my fate. Let that be your declaration to the world. And if you're serious about this journey, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. This is where you reclaim your focus, your strength, and your life. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and remember, the only true path to lasting success and inner peace is to focus solely on yourself.